So, I don't actually have a fear of needles or injections. The title itself may have been a little bit misleading, and so was the thumbnail, but now you're here. I'm going to tell you about some times where I've seen the fear of needles firsthand. I ran a poll on Twitter to find out what you guys thought about any fears of needles, and surprisingly, not many of you actually have that fear. I think the worst thing about needles isn't actually the injection itself, but the fear of imminent needle stabbage. This fear is simply made tenfold worse when you're with your peers at school. If the entire class is getting an injection for whatever reason, people always start rumours, or they just make it worse out than it actually is. Hey guys, I just had the injection, it was so bad. The nurse pulled out this huge needle, and it had like 6 points at the end which were all razor sharp, and when they injected you, each one stabbed you multiple times. Damn, it almost tore my arm off. So why do you just have the prick on your arm? Shut up. The worst part about injections for me wasn't the actual needle itself, but the fact that the prick on your arm afterwards was very sensitive. If you were in a class like mine, all the boys would just go around punching each other afterwards. And you knew if somebody punched you where you had your injection, it hurt a lot. Hey, Tank Bank, think fast. I remember one time, we must have been about 7 or 8 years old. We had to have an injection for what I believe was meningitis. I think. Honestly, I don't remember. We all had to queue up in one big long line and just watch, one by one, as students walked out of the nurse's office, either crying, spreading rumours, or just generally being unimpressed about the whole thing. One kid, the bully of the class, was absolutely terrified. For the entire year he's been putting on the tough guy image, generally just being a huge jerk to everybody, but on this day we all saw a side of him which we'd never seen before. He absolutely freaked out and ran. Yep, he straight up pegged it out of school and just disappeared. The teachers gave chase, but man, he was running like a bat out of hell. We didn't see this guy for the rest of the day. That was until the very end, where we saw him getting carried back into the office, looking as white as a sheet. He didn't stop the arm punching, however, so that was just a given. I just thought I'd share that story because it was quite funny. Plus, it's a prime example of showing that bullies are just as insecure as the rest of us. Another time, I went to go donate blood, which is something you should totally do, by the way. And they just lie you down hooked up with a bag that collects blood slowly over time. You essentially stay there until the bag fills up, and then you can leave. However, the first time I went and did it, I was laid there for hardly any time at all, and then they just simply unhooked me. Apparently, I was done. Sir, you're done, you can now leave. I was only laid down for a couple of oh. The bag is full of my blood. The nurse explained to me that my blood is very thin, and that's why it was so easy to extract. I fear that in the future, if I ever had a heavy wound for whatever reason, I'd bleed out very quickly. Boy, I hope that never happens to me. My dad told me the first time that he went to go donate blood, he was warned not to get up straight away because he had so much blood taken out of him so quickly. He didn't listen. He shot up so confident that he could just stride out. He then collapsed and hit his head on the cabinet. Not his proudest moment from the sounds of it. If you've never donated blood before, I highly recommend that you do. It's such a satisfying experience, so I'd certainly, if you can, at least give it a try. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button and be sure to stick around. Me and some of my other animator buddies, we've got some very special videos lined up for you in the next couple of weeks, so stick around for that. And yeah, just remember to eat your greens.